Alex is really special to me because, I'm a pretend player, but those soldiers are out there doing it for real. And I was really hoping that this character would resonate with them, representing, the heroics that they do. I, was emotional and I'm like, I already know what's coming.
Hey you, welcome back to the channel. I've been away for a minute, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 seemingly came and went. I didn't buy it. I watched a bit of the campaign, and I've watched some people play multiplayer. It's the same old copy and paste thing, but at least we had zombies, right? Right, guys?
Wrong-o.
And then it hit me, why don't I just go back to an older Call of Duty title? And I did. And let me tell you, that was the right move. Modern Warfare 2019 slaps. It slaps harder than the hand of Zeus.
May Zeus himself strike me down if I'm lying.
With a badass story, amazing characters that you actually care for, multiplayer that stood its ground for quite a while, and of course the addition of Warzone, it honestly was the best thing that could have happened to the Call of Duty franchise. But in this video, we're not going to dive into multiplayer or Warzone, even though we all know that 2019 Warzone was the GOAT.
I'll bet your house.
What we are talking about is one character, one main character that you play as.
I chose to take you alive. I can still change my mind.
Alex Keller. But wait, make sure to drop a like on the video. Our like goal is 1,000. Let's break that. And while you're down there, maybe even consider subscribing to become a Blade today. Thank you all for your time. Love you very much. Now let's get right back to the video. The game opens up with Alex on deployment, set with a hit crew, trying to go identify some Russian gas. But then the mission goes sideways.
Who the fuck is this?
As a group of terrorists, known as Al-Qatala, find and steal the Russian gas. Alex then finds himself face to face with Farah Karim, located in Urzikstan. Farah Karim is the commander of the anti-terrorist group that is going against both Al-Qatala and Russia.
None left.
With that being said, the people of Urzikstan have suffered terribly from terrorist attacks and Russian invasions, while on the other hand, America wants to work hand in hand with British SAS and Farah Karim's anti-terrorist group to help stop Russia's assault on other countries.
If you stay, we can help you. But if you stay, you fight.
Yalanatu. Marhaba li Urzikstan, Alex.
Our allied forces then gather intel on the Wolf, who is the primary leader of the terrorist group Al-Qatala.
We are Al-Qatala. We are the killers.
Our primary goal here is to secure the Wolf and make sure that we get answers about the stolen Russian gas, which turns out to not even be them.
Russian gas?
Yes! And now we send it back to the Russians. The gas masks are in the bunker! Come quickly!
Hadir's reasoning behind using said Russian gas dates back to when him and Farah were both kids. Russia invaded their country, killing off their mother and father, leading to them both being without parents and without a home. In our present day, allied forces team up to go capture the Wolf. Bro gets capped.
There is no escape. This is the end.
Has a remote!
And then it's off to the races to go hunt down Hadir and his new terrorist allies. Due to Hadir's actions, America lists Farah's people as terrorists.
What? They're our allies.
With that newfound knowledge, Alex then goes out of his way to go against the American government to finally choose what he believes in.
I'm tired of being told who my friends are.
Alex, don't.
I'm going back to Urzikstan, staying with Farah's army.
What you're doing is illegal.
I'm pretty sure everything we do is illegal.
Only the good stuff. You got friends nearby?
You too.
Now, over the course of the game, we have seen two primary things. One, Alex always followed orders.
Command wants mission accomplished on this. Not our choice.
Never is. 3-1 out.
And two, Farah and Alex became closer as people.
I don't do this to keep my word. The invaders of my country have no regard for human life. The gas kills all things, even food and our gardens. If you use these tactics, you are my enemy.
No exceptions?
None. Al-Qatala has given my people a bad name, and we have paid dearly for their crimes. I want to see the Wolf punished.
I'll make sure you're at the embassy for the handoff to Price.
And you? Where will you go when this is over?
Wherever they send me.
You don't choose.
Not exactly.
With his window closing, Captain Price recruits Kyle Garrick to go capture Hadir. And after their successful mission, we soon come to find that America made a trade deal with Russia. Russia gets Hadir, America gets some intel. Captain Price turns over Hadir and then forms a small hit squad consisting of Alex, Farah, Kyle Garrick, and of course, Price himself. Captain Price's main goal was to follow through what Hadir started, to go blow up a Russian gas factory located
In eastern Georgia.
and the plan is to set some explosives on the main broilers and then get on out of there. All while Farah Karim goes on her way to finally take down General Barkov. General Barkov is the guy that led the attack on Farah and Hadir's little village at the beginning. That's kind of important. That's why she wants him dead.
If Barkov's there, he's mine.
So with the plan in motion, Alex and Farah make their way to the broilers and get ready to rig the explosives. This is the moment that Alex then realizes,
Detonator's fucked.
It's dead.
okay, so this right here is a moment for me that sets 2019 Modern Warfare apart from any other COD game I've played in recent years, because you hit an impasse between Farah and Alex. We have seen both of these characters grow over the course of the game. We understand where they come from and why they are the way that they are. Farah wants to kill Barkov to finally end that trauma, and Alex finally gets a chance to make a choice. I think in general, this is probably one of the best Call of Duty scenes we've ever had in COD history. It's written beautifully, it's scored to perfection, the acting is immaculate, and most importantly of all, stands as Alex's final moment of growth within the 2019 Modern Warfare story. I think the best detail within the writing here is that Alex is so conditioned to follow order that he asks Farah to give him the order to manually detonate the explosives to bring down Barkov's gas factory.
I'm asking you to give me the order.
I won't do that.
Commander, please.
I am not your CO.
Then who is? Because someone needs to light this fire and someone needs to kill Barkov. And you can't do both. I've been an assignment my whole life. This is what I believe in. Give me the order.
You are a freedom fighter, Alex.
You're a born leader, Farah. Say the word.
Go.
Yes, ma'am. Good luck.
And after Alex's moment of self-sacrifice, Farah finds her way to Barkov, finally putting a pin in him, and the game ends with Laswell and Captain Price talking about,
What are you calling this task force?
141.
cut to credits. And as I watched those same credits roll, I then thought, man, I just wish that I could speak to the guy, you know? If I could just understand more of the character. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Oh wait, yeah, no, that's exactly what I did. I went and I hit up Chad Michael Collins, the voice actor for our very own Alex Keller, in which he agreed to an interview, where we got to discuss our love for the character, the world, past, present, and future games of the series. Here are the best moments between Chad and myself. What is it like stepping into a main character role for a franchise or series that had a reboot?
What was it like to step into Modern Warfare 2019, which they called it a soft reboot? Because obviously the trilogy, the classic Modern Warfare trilogy, can't be touched, and they wanted to bring it back around. So I think they did a really great job of merging the old with the new. And along with the new came my character Alex Keller, who's handling this mission and reconnecting with some old pals like Captain Price and Gaz and everything else too. So for me, it was a lot of fun. I felt like there was a lot less pressure on me, as an actor, performance-wise, because I didn't have to step in any shoes that were real big, like Barry Sloan did for Captain Price, even though I thought he did a masterful job of, paying tribute to the Captain Price before him, but also putting his own stamp on things. So for me, I think there was a lot less pressure, for me, and maybe Claudia Dumit, who originated Farah, she probably feels the same way. We weren't trying to, merge those two worlds together. We could kind of step into our own shoes, so to speak, or combat boots, if you will, and just have a lot more fun with it and creative expression.
What was your favorite part of Alex's story?
My favorite part of Alex's story, I think that they did a really great job with his story. He kind of suffers some burnout, And I remember the scene where he has the wonderful conversation on the rooftop with Farah and Urzikstan
Mhm.
and Hadir, and they just have a conversation. They watch the sun go down, share a rolled up little cigarette. It was a nice little touching scene that kind of spoke to Alex's experience. You know, just being a gun for hire, sent off to do a mission. He never gets to stick around to see if that mission has gone all the way through and experience the good that comes from it. And so he's kind of tired of just being in this rotation of did I even help? And I think that he takes this beautiful arc where he kind of digs in and says, you know what, I'm going to see this through. I'm going to help Farah and her people, the people of Urzikstan, all the way through. I'm not leaving. We're going to get this done. And I think that he kind of felt a renewed purpose after having so many years of burnout, being on assignment, you know, and that's his classic line in Barkov's factory is, you know, I've been on assignment my whole life, you know, and this is what I actually believe in. And so he kind of defies orders and he defects a little bit and sticks by her side to see things through for once. And it was cool to kind of see his spirit reinvigorated, I suppose, after so many assignments that, you know, either went well or didn't, or helped or didn't. And it was a really fun character arc to explore that brought the characters Farah and Alex really close together. We kind of saw that live on through the other iterations of the franchise as we went forward.
There's something so special about like Alex's character. Again, just like you said with his arc. To me personally, as like a fan of Call of Duty and everything, kind of felt like a lot of the characters were missing, only
Hmm.
because so many of the characters are like the blank slate, like soldier, where like
Yeah.
you have to really feel it yourself.
The title of the game is called Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so it was nice to not be too like saccharine with it, not be over the top with it, but you know there's some heart and soul
Yeah.
behind these characters and their particular arc, rather than just you know like you pointed out, stone-faced killers doing the job and then getting on a plane and doing the next one.
How did you feel about the ending of the original Modern Warfare 2019?
How did I feel about the ending of 2019? I got to be honest, I loved it, and I remember I know what we filmed, and they showed us some kind of some rougher versions of how those cut scenes, you know, kind of came together when their amazing team got together and really polished them up. And then I started to see some of that, and then I actually played through the campaign when it dropped. And you know, when it got time for that sacrifice scene in Barkov's lab, like I you know was emotional, and I'm like, I already know what's coming. The way that they framed this, the way that they lit it, you know, the performance to work off of with Farah and everything else too. It was kind of hard not to get the feels, and I just thought it was such a heroic gesture and really you know brought things home around for Alex in that way that like he was going to see this through with Farah and them until the end, and he decided, okay, if this is the end, this I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, and it was just a really emotional, very touching scene. And you know, I have no qualms with it. You know, I thought that was just a one and done, but what a ride. And you know, to my surprise and delight, Alex emerged from the rubble, saves Ghost Bacon, you know, in the Warzone, I think season three, and then you know, kind of comes back in the raids, and then Modern Warfare 3, and I mean that's just a blessing because you know you don't think anyone's coming back from that. So I was really satisfied with the way that ended. I just thought it represented the brutality of war and the sacrifices that people have to kind of deal with and what they sign up for. That it could possibly come down to that. And Alex was totally game, and he was devoted to the cause in a way that he was willing to put his life on the line to see this sort of thing through for the greater good. And I love that ending. And I thought it was absolutely incredible. And I was even more thrilled when I got the call that Alex was coming back.
And it was honestly such a badass return.
Yeah.
My best friend, his favorite character is Ghost, and then to have that interaction between Ghost and Alex, even from back then, we've never seen that. Everything came back to me because I loved this entire story. I loved every character. It was so well done. I resonated deeply with the Alex character, and then to see him go, like even my mom cried, and she's like loved these characters and everything like that. And I've been playing since I was even younger, and
Right.
like I was freaking out because I was like, dude, there's no way they just kill him off. Like there
Yeah.
is no way. And then you showed up again, and I was like, all right, well done, Activision, good
Yeah.
job, guys.
Well, I appreciate that, and your mom's, of course. But that was a lot of the feedback that I got for years, just about how touching that scene was and how it moved them, and you know, having that in terms of the emotional trauma people experienced going through that sacrifice scene with Alex, you know, and putting that on par with the General Shepard betrayal scene. in terms of just being a gut punch. I was like, all right, we did our job. We made people feel the feels. So I suppose mission accomplished.
Me personally, I think you guys made history because we've seen so many beautiful or tear jerky type of endings to these, very trauma ridden games, and they're very emotional and everything like that. But then it just felt special because for once we got to really connect with the main character,
Hmm.
like a protagonist. Like, of course, you have Garrick and everything like that, and he was fantastic. Elliot was
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah.
such a great cast all around, and it felt more like a family, which I think was missing from these games. So then
Hmm.
to like have that and to roll into each and every other Modern Warfare afterwards is just such a treat. What does this character mean to you?
What does the Alex character mean to me? I think that what I was really excited about when I came aboard that project was, and having played and having been a fan of the original Modern Warfare classic franchise, the trilogy back in the day, was that you really got to step fully into the shoes and the perspective of a true blue American soldier. And so many of the wonderful characters there are British SAS, and it's a kind of an international take on everything. And it did have American, soldiers and great characters in some of the previous iterations, but I really got to represent an American perspective in a game that was kind of otherwise dominated by a lot of international wonderful characters and soldiers and stuff like that. Call of Duty is such a popular thing to play amongst current servicemen and women and veterans alike. And I love interacting with them and supporting them. And they really resonated. And I thought this is going to be really cool because this is going to be perhaps one of the very first or very few times that they've seen that American perspective in this modern warfare universe, and they're really going to get to see it, start to finish. So Alex is really special to me because, I'm a pretend player, but those soldiers are out there doing it for real. And I was really hoping that this character would resonate with them, representing, the heroics that they do, on a daily basis. And I thought that was really cool for them to add that in there, Infinity Ward and beyond, to have the American sort of represented in, in the forefront sort of thing instead of a peripheral character or supporting character. So that's why he's so special to me. And hearing the feedback that it's resonated with so many vets and currently enlisted soldiers, from America is just awesome. It's great to be able to represent that and hopefully do a good enough job that they respect and appreciate it.
Your character of Alex definitely touched a whole bunch of people. Like, I mean, like even me as just a dude who hasn't served our country like that, I felt so connected with the character, and I can only imagine what type of solace that would bring people.
Yeah.
And just like as a whole, there's something so special about the way that you portrayed the character and gave him life, which I think is, again, it's just different than what we've had. And because of that little like nuance of a personality, it really does shed the way for a lot of trauma healing in a sense. Just
Yeah.
something to connect to. And I think, again, you did a great job. And of course, the writing team nailed it too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I appreciate the kind words, but all credit to the
The
writing
writing, man.
creative
Yeah,
team over there because this was their brainchild, and
yeah,
I was
exactly.
just doing my best not to screw up. Such a
Yeah.
wonderful character and great lines and great dialogue and a wonderful character arc to explore. So, yeah, it was a blast and a blessing and one of my favorite projects jobs that I've ever been able to blessed to do as an actor in all these years.
How does it feel to be loved by the Call of Duty community?
My gosh, how does it feel to be loved by the Call of Duty community? I don't know. It's always blown me away that Alex resonated with so many people, and hasn't played as much of a bigger role, obviously, as your like kind of big four with your Ghost, your Soap, your Captain Price, your Gaz, and everything else too. But he's still out there, and he's still part of the universe, and he's kicking around, and they, he's got his own little fan club there, which I so appreciate. And I just thought that the character was so fun to play and they wrote him so well. It's kind of like, it's hard not to like this guy. So my job was to kind of lean into that all-American apple pie, true blue US soldier and, do everything I can to endear Alex to as many of the players and the gamers around the world. And the feedback's just been really, really wonderful. I don't know that I've ever gotten any sort of troll or hate comments or posts about Alex. And I know that some of the other characters can't really escape that fate because people are just what do they say, passionate about the characters that they love. But the feedback's always been overwhelmingly, positive and glowing. And Alex is just a character that everybody kind of seemed to get behind with no issues. And I appreciate that.
What headspace did you have to get into for this role?
I mean, that's a great question because motion capture, the process itself of video games, is such a unique thing to television and film because you're playing in a sandbox. You're mostly playing in your imagination. When we're on the volume, as they say, the motion capture stage, there's not much there. There's very crude representations of the war setting or, that kind of military theater. It plays such a large part in these games and he's telling these stories. So in terms of the headset and the mindset, I really wanted to lean more into the interactions with Farah, and kind of like taking her lead. And I was there to support. So much of that had me playing off of her. She was not only filling me in, sharing her backstory, and then of course leading the way with her plans and to be a support character assisting her kind of made it easier for me to step back and be like, okay, this is what she's offering me, this is what she's saying, this is the plan, here's why, and now I get to kind of respond accordingly and to get on board with that. So there's technical aspects to it as well. Just trying to understand, what little I knew about Alex's background because he's kind of a more of a mystery character in terms of where he comes from and what he's been doing all these years. And so it was cool. We had Navy SEALs to work with that helped us craft our own particular, movement, tactical movements and style because, freedom fighters are going to have a different way of doing battle, more guerrilla warfare. But somebody who's, ex CIA SAD and perhaps has like one of the military branches under his belt as well, whether it's Delta Force or something like that. It's like they're going to have a very different way of going throughout the battlefield and their tactics too. So working hand in hand with the Navy SEALs that they provided for us was really cool because we all got to put our own individual stamp representing our characters from whatever walk of life and training that we had. So that was always something in the back of my mind. It's not just all dialogue and wanting to be able to get that right and, tell that story from an emotional perspective, but you also want to present yourself, shoulders back, squared away, all those things that get drilled into you and become a part of you as a soldier, even in those casual moments, the way you sling your gun, the way you hold your gun when you're at ease. So, there's a technical aspect to playing soldiers that's always in the back of my mind that I want to represent really well. You never want to do anything where a soldier would watch and be like, yo, that's absolute BS. No one would ever do that, even on a down day. So it's a combination of the two things there. And so it was a lot of fun to lean into those things and kind of spin all those plates and bring the best performance that I could.
So you mentioned the cast and crew. What was it like working with your co-stars? And what did you learn from them that stays with you now as an actor?
Yeah, I mean that's a fun walk down memory lane is remembering what it was like to film with my awesome co-stars. And I loved them. I mean, I've said this before, but they're not only great people, but they're fantastic actors. And everyone sees the job they did as actors. So that's going to live on forever. It was a joy to really work with Barry Sloan. Just fantastic. Everyone had such a great sense of humor. Elliot Knight, who played Gaz, and Claudia Dumit, who plays Farah. We just had so much love and so much fun. And, when we heard action, it was like, and I appreciate that, because some actors have very, very different types in the way that they approach their creative performances. And they just, they're an island, they're off by themselves, preparing for the role mentally and doing their process and whatever. But that's not the way that I really operate. And I found that, my co-stars kind of operated the same. Between action and cut, we were all business. But before action and after cut, it was a clown show and it was just a love fest and we had so much fun and so many laughs and our wonderful friends at Infinity Ward were exactly the same and we just had such a blast making this game. So I can't say enough about them in terms of talented actors, but just really cool people. And I still keep in touch with quite a few of them.
What do you hope for Alex's future?
My hope for Alex is to keep coming on back, and we know we've got a new big bad, Makarov. He's in the wild, as they say. So we got to put an end to that guy and what he represents in that threat. Figure out the whole Urzikstan situation, which is still just a hot button area, that was kind of left open ended in Modern Warfare 3. And, we're finding strange allies and enemy of enemies becoming our friends, and with the Philip Graves and Shadow Company. And there's a lot of overlap there, and that's why you see us kind of bounce in and bounce out of our experience. Alex made his bed and he's choosing to be with Farah and see her stuff through as a top priority. Obviously, Captain Price has all the things on the plate of Task Force 141 and the things he has to deal with. So, I hope there's room that, you see even Farah and Alex kind of become de facto card carrying members of 141 to kind of help them, because what helps them probably helps her cause. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity, for the old switcheroos and coming in and out and everything else too. But Yeah, who knows? Maybe if once the Urzikstan stuff is finally put to bed and rectified, Alex can kind of hop on there and represent that 141 patch alongside Gaz and Captain Price and Ghost. It's possible.
Hell yes. I just wanted to take a moment and thank Chad for being a part of my video. You made a dream of mine come true, and for that, I will be eternally grateful for the opportunity. Working with Chad Michael Collins was a blast, and so I think it's only fitting that you guys go check him out on Twitch, where he plays Warzone and multiplayer for the love of the character and the Call of Duty community.
Oh shit, I do have grenades.
But if live streams aren't your thing, that's fine. Go see Chad star as Brandon Beckett in the Sniper series, with the most recent film being Sniper: The Last Stand. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
The only thing more important than fighting for your own freedom is fighting for someone else's.
To wrap things up, Modern Warfare 2019 was a turning point for the series, and a good one at that. I don't know about the other two, but that's for a separate video. With one of the best stories since the classic Modern Warfare 2, and a protagonist that can give Alex Mason a run for his money.
What's your name?
Fuck you!
Where were you born?
Kiss my ass!
I can say with confidence that this entry revitalized our love for Call of Duty, and it's all thanks to some good writing, some strong characters, and some world-class talent that could bring it all home.
This is Chad Michael Collins, play Alex Keller Echo 3-1, signing off.
Yeah, anywho, drop a comment letting me know who your favorite Call of Duty protagonist is and why, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
And this is a lot of fun to walk down memory lane, and so hopefully we've got some good sound bites in there to cut into your video, and I look forward to seeing it.
They must have amnesia. They forgot that I'm him.